Hi, good afternoon and welcome to PÖFF TV on a new episode today. I am Eleonora Granata Jenkinson. I'm one of the programmers at the Tallinn Black Night Film Festival. I'm also a producer of Monica, and here with us we have Andrea Pallaoro, the writer, director and producer of Monica.
Thank you. I'm very happy to be here. Thank you, Eleonora.
It's a special thing to be in Tallinn for us because we came when the film Monica was just at the very beginning with the script, and we were part of script pool. So we are now back in Gala because the film premiere in Venice as in main competition this last September. But we wanted to come back here where the whole journey started. So I would like to start with some question to Andrea on Monica, who screened last night here for the Tallinn Film Festival. And I wanted you to tell me a little bit about, as you know, we start from the end and we start with how was for you to be in Tallinn and how was received the film here.
Yes. Well, as you mentioned, I have a long relationship with Tallinn. We have a long relationship with Tallinn because my previous film showed here, and I was also part of the jury here. And Monica started, even before it was an actual script, it started as a pitch competition. And so we presented to people for the first time here in Tallinn. So it was very meaningful and very, very special to have a screening last night. We had a full house. You know, like, and very, very enthusiastic, like really good questions. So it was altogether a very exciting screening.
That's great. I'm very happy to know because I wasn't here. My flight Finnair was, 7-hour delay, and unfortunately I missed the film. But I know I heard that was very successful. So let's start with the story of Monica. What inspiration brought you to bring on the screen and before that to write about this incredible woman, this very special and touching character living in this special world, the world of Monica, that is really something that cannot be described by anything else but deeply touching, emotionally involving, but very, how do I say, it's very restrained and formal in a way. And in the other side is very involving, and it's like the balance between the two things makes this film like quite extraordinary, if I may say so. But I would like to know from you, how do you start? How do you write this?
Well, I think that Monica is part of a larger exploration that started with my previous film with Hannah, starring Charlotte Rampling, and it centers around the theme, around the complexities, the dynamics, the consequences of abandonment. Abandonment not just as the act of being abandoned, but also as not being recognized, as not being accepted for who you are. And I think that abandonment is something that in one way or another is something that we all deal with, that like really affects all of our relationships. And I'm very, very fascinated by the consequences that it has in our lives, on our sense of identity. And that being said, Monica is also very inspired by the life of a very dear friend of mine. And it's not her story, I want to mention, but it's certainly a film that draws a very similar parallel to the life of my friend.
And how did you work with your actress and actor? Because I know that you did a lot of deep searching. And can you just tell us a little bit about it?
Well, like when they say that 90% of a film is the casting process, I agree with that statement, because finding the person that could embody the emotional and psychological state of mind of Monica was one of the most important aspects of making this film. And in fact, it was one that took a very long time. It took over a year, and we saw about more than 30 candidates for the role. And it was an international search. It was not one that was based only in the U.S. But I think from our early conversations, it was clear that when we met Trace Lizette, she was immediately the one that we were thinking about could actually, not only embody the character because she understood it so well. In fact, her life story is very similar to the one of Monica, but also she possesses the very rare quality of being and becoming in front of the camera instead of just acting. So it was something that we felt very confident from the early on.
And this film has also the great advantage to pair Trace Lizette with a phenomenal actress like Patricia Clarkson. So how this, the chemistry between the two, there was chemistry, or there was, how?
Yes, Trace is still, like I would say, like not at the beginning of her career because she did other things, but she's still an actress that people are getting to know, while instead Patricia Clarkson has gifted us so many extraordinary performances. So she's someone that I knew what kind of range she could have. And, we met actually about 9 years prior in Marrakesh. And back then we said to each other, wouldn't it be so great if we could work together one day? And the fact that it actually happened it's really truly amazing. But the dynamic between the two of them was because they really fun to watch and to be part of, because they come to acting from very different perspectives, and they have very different sensibilities, and they rely on different things as well. And so I felt that they could really complement one another, and also bring the rest of the cast as well to like a really, really special type of intimacy and energy.
Yeah, and something more I think that is very touching is that the journey of this woman is a journey of a transgender woman. So it seems to me that Trace Lizette embodies this character as properly a woman. That's why when we talk about Monica, is a post-transgender. It's not about a transgender with a revelation. It's a transgender woman who acts as a woman, who belong into her body and her way of being 100%. And so I would like to also draw a little bit of attention on the fact that the theme of transgender, that it seems to the people who work in the film business, is like fashionable in a way, because there are quite a few films talking about. But I really want you to tell me about the difference between what could be considered a film about the theme of the transgender and Monica, because they are like it's within, but it's also above that. So I would like you to explain a little bit about this journey. It's an interior journey.
Well, this is first and foremost a film about families and about what it means to return to your family and trying to heal the wounds and the traumas of the past. It happens that, of course, Monica is transgender, and this is a very important part of the film, but the film doesn't center around it. It's really one that we could all relate to in one way or another. And I also feel like it does contribute to the legacy of, the representation of transgender in media and in film, especially because it doesn't focus on the transition like most films or most art offerings about transgender people. But it's one that goes beyond, as you said. In fact, it starts about 20 years after the transition has happened, and we never question the gender of Monica throughout the film, which I think it's something that at least a lot of members of the transgender community communicated to me they really needed to see on the big screen.
Yes. And now something about you. I mean, you are an Italian author living and working in the United States and everywhere else. So this film is across the ocean, is a co-production with Italy. How was to work, with your, this film? The other film was shot in Europe, but this one is really an American film.
Yes.
Yet
it has a very European sensibility, I think, because this is who I am, this is where I come from. But it is an inherently American story. And now I've been living in the US more than I've lived in Italy, so I really think of LA, where I live, as my home, and of course, this story is one that speaks about the American society. In fact, even just the journey that Monica takes at the beginning of the film to return to her family, to where she was from, to her childhood, is one that was very meaningful. For the dynamic of the U.S. is one that was very important for me to explore and to do it as an outsider. From the way I come to the U.S. As a European. So. It's.
Where was it shot, the film?
It's shot in Cincinnati, in Ohio, and the film community there was very welcoming to us, so we're very grateful to them.
And I understand Trace is actually coming from Ohio, so there was also.
Yes, and that was very serendipitous because. We had made the decision to shoot there even before Trace became attached to the project, and the fact that we shot in their backyard, it was very, very special. Yeah.
And what about the journey of the film now that it's finished and premiere in Venice? I mean, what I know that the film has been to quite a few festivals, and what was the reaction of the people? Compared to, different country, what was the experience that you can put together?
Well, I love, accompanying the film from festival to festival because I love to see, at least in its first journey into the world, I love to see how it's received. And I have to say that it has been very heartwarming to see so much enthusiasm and so much readiness to absorb this story, which is something that at first I wasn't so sure about, because it does touch upon themes that are not often accepted in the mainstream culture. So it has been a very, very enthusiastic and very emotional response from almost every screening and every experience we've had in the different countries. Yeah.
That's great. Thank you so much, Andrea. And let's hope that the audience in Tallinn and in Estonia could see the film in the near future. So thank you.
Thank you, Eleonora, and thank you, Tallinn. Thank you for having us.